NBC5 responds. Parents in Long Grove say their children suffered from health problems for years, and they believe the cause is rooted in their kids' school. Parents tell us the school district hasn't done enough to keep their kids safe, so that's why they turned to PJ Randhawa to share their stories.
13-year-old Scarlett Strzezuski says she found a groove in her new middle school.
Are you still an A+ in that class?
I think so.
The 8th grader left her public school in District 96 in August of 2024 after her doctors connected the Woodlawn Middle School building and Scarlett's health challenges.
I would feel very dizzy, and I would feel like the room was spinning. I would come down with these major headaches.
Scarlett was 12 years old when the symptoms started.
And it was a little bit scary not knowing what was happening with my body because I never experienced these symptoms before.
Her parents say they watched their daughter's condition deteriorate over time.
At the end, she was in there for 45 minutes to an hour, and we just had to pick her up. So at that point, we knew we had to make other choices.
So the Strzezuski set out to get answers. When Scarlett's blood and urine was analyzed, the lab work shows she was found to be suffering from mold toxicity. The culprit? Exposure to mycotoxins. The World Health Organization says mycotoxins are toxic compounds produced by certain molds that can cause health problems. Scarlett's doctor wrote this letter.
As a result of Scarlett experiencing significant neurological effects,
stating it's imperative for Scarlett to be excused from being physically present at school. The school district approved Scarlett for at-home learning.
She was on homebound services for several months, which means she gets a tutor 1 hour per day, and you're separated from your friends.
John and Lindsay requested a transfer to another school. They say the process took 5 months and cost them thousands of dollars in attorney fees. And ultimately, the transfer was denied by the school district.
We were just flabbergasted by that result.
The Strzezuskis learned Scarlett wasn't the only student at Woodlawn Middle School suffering from mold toxicity.
My older son, who was affected, is no longer in the school district.
Patrick Lee says his son, Isaac, has aged out of Woodlawn Middle School, but while he was there, he started to experience symptoms similar to Scarlett's. And like Scarlett, Isaac tested positive for mycotoxin exposure.
Here's a doctor's letter that shows that my son has the medical necessity for a mold and mycotoxin-free environment.
The EPA doesn't have regulations or standards for levels of airborne mold or contaminants, but still tests are available to analyze mold and mycotoxins. The Lee and Strzezuski families took it upon themselves to find a lab that tests for mycotoxins. They purchased a test and collected samples from air vents at Woodlawn Middle School.
So the test involves it's almost similar to a COVID test, where there is a swab, and so we swabbed during an orchestra concert the air intake vent, where you'd have a lot of airflow. There was dust there.
The results proved what the parents suspected to be true. There were elevated levels of mycotoxins in the school, and these are the same type of toxins found in Scarlett and Isaac's blood and urine samples. NBC5 Response wanted to talk with School District 96 about these test results. The school district wouldn't talk with us on camera, but it did direct us to results from its own mold testing. The assessment found, quote, mold growth is not a concern in these schools. NBC Chicago took the test results from the schools and from the families to the American Academy of Clinical Toxicology. The organization explained the school district tests were for mold and did not appear to test for mycotoxins, the toxic substances believed to cause Scarlett and Isaac's symptoms. It also told us a sample that is collected by someone who doesn't have the training to do so may yield results that are not as reliable. We asked the school district if it tested for mycotoxins, and if so, where we could find those results. It didn't respond directly to that question. Instead, it sent us a statement which reads in part, "We believe these claims to be unfounded on the basis of thorough testing performed by independent, internationally recognized third-party professionals following sampling methodologies accredited by the American Industrial Hygiene Association." It goes on to say, "Our district is committed to maintaining the highest standards for safety and ensuring our facilities are fully compliant with all federal, state, regional, and local environmental regulations." And the district is committed to maintaining a safe, respectful environment for all students and families, ensuring that individual student matters are handled appropriately and confidentially. In the meantime, the Strzezuskis and Lee families hope sharing their stories will spark change.
We're very hopeful that as a community we can have more of us coming together and banding together, hopefully pushing the school into doing the right thing, which is really just doing a more in-depth investigation into their error and really seeing, firsthand what's happening that's causing all of this.
Killdeer Countryside School District 96 has posted 2 independent environmental reports on its website. We've linked them to nbcchicago.com/consumer so you can check them out. PJ Randhawa, NBC5 responds.